It's your man, Flexin Wit Dex. Flexin Vote 2023. Look, local elections coming up. Hey, I tell you, some majors going on in Brunswick County. Hey, we got Mr. Greene. He's joining us today. He's running for sheriff of Brunswick County. And you're going to get to meet him right here on Flexin Wit Dex today. How you doing, Mr. Greene?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Hey, glad to meet you, Mr. Greene.
You too, sir.
And I'm glad that you're a candidate. Just give us options in the county. It's a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Hey, introduce yourself to the people.
Yes, I'm Sheriff-elect Robert Greene. I'm glad to be here to represent the county. I'm going to make it a better place. I've been a police officer in Baltimore City for 30 years when I retired and came down here to retire. But once I got here, I realized that they were in dire need of my services. I didn't choose to be sheriff down here. I was chosen. He asked me to come down, and this has been put on me to make this a better place.
So once again, we got joined by Mr. Greene, elect Sheriff Mr. Greene. So Mr. Greene, can you tell some of the viewers what's your qualifications?
Well, first of all, I'm a 30-year veteran of the Baltimore City Police Department. During the time that I was on, I started out as a footman working in the residential areas in Baltimore City. In 1972, in some of the roughest neighborhoods that you could work. I went on and progressed and became a sergeant, a detective, a lieutenant, and a captain. As a captain, I was commander of the Central District, which I controlled about 175 people per day on each shift. I was also a duty officer for the entire city of Baltimore on numerous occasions on the weekends. My experiences, I was on the SWAT team, K-9, hostage negotiator, community relations, every aspect of department and policing that you can imagine, I was in charge of at one time or another. I retired, came down here to relax, and found myself in need of policing. And I have a lot to offer the county. I have a degree from Johns Hopkins University in applied behavioral science. I've traveled all over the United States, from as far as San Francisco to New Haven, Connecticut, from Texas, every state you can imagine. I've been at least 12 different states. They have used my expertise in hiring and promotion practices of other agencies, including Fairfax County, Virginia.
Okay. So look, what motivated you? What motivated you to come, what got in your spirit to say, hey, Brunswick County, I'm gonna go back to Brunswick County because they need me?
Well, initially, I bought property down here about 25 years ago. Right in Greentown, Virginia, where my family has always been. And once I got here, I built my own house. I contracted out myself, and I was fine. But I realized that the county was in need of a lot of things. I didn't have any nightlife, any social activities other than the church. And I was a little disgusted with that.
You got to drive 40 miles to take your wife, your kids out.
Exactly. Had to go all the way to.
And you remember the nightlife.
Exactly. I remember we had the Bricklayers Club.
That's right.
We had had Claybo's.
That's right.
We had a couple of places we could go, and even St. Paul had little activities on the weekends that you could deal with. But now there's absolutely nothing here, nothing that we can do. Even only one little restaurant, which is Hardee's, and it's a shame. I mean, everything is just nothing positive happening here, and I think we can change that around.
So do you what's the issues that you believe the county face, like in law enforcement?
Well, to be perfectly honest, Brunswick County is probably one of the safest environments that you can be in. We have very low crime. Right now, I think the biggest issue is public safety and health. We have a lot of problems with mental health with the youth. We have very poor educational system. I think they have 40 teachers retired in the last year. And basically the school system is handled by substitute teachers who are basically glorified babysitters. They have no real professional skills to be able to offer the children. And I think that our kids need more education. They need a better standard. You go to the Food Lion and present a person, the clerk, with your money, and they don't know how to use money. They use everything on the computer with the card. So it's really a shame. I mean, get them confused, and I'm not trying to take advantage of them, but I show them cash money and they don't know how to handle it. And that's not no exaggeration.
It's real life. It's
real
reality.
Life. Exactly.
Yes, it is.
There are no trade, no jobs here.
They took the trades out the high school.
Took the trades out of the high school.
And moved them to other schools in the county.
No bricklaying.
No. Auto mechanics.
Nothing.
Carpentry. Yeah.
All that's gone.
I had welding when I was in school.
Exactly.
Yeah. They have none of those things now.
And therefore you just grooming them to fail. And the few kids that do come out of school, I talked to one young man, his father was a bricklayer, and I said, what are your aspirations? What would you like to do? And I was really disappointed. He said he wanted to be a school bus driver. Now, I realize he's still a child, and he was probably about 14 years old, but that's not a real aspiration to be a school bus driver. I mean, there's not a future in that.
That's right. That's right. So you saying that? So what would you present your relations between the community and law enforcement?
Well, again, I say the law enforcement aspect is pretty low. We don't have a lot of crime, although we do have some, especially during the pandemic when they were coming through from out of town, from North Carolina, cutting the catalytic converters out of the cars. I had 2 vehicles that they had done that to. They did steal my mother's car. We was tagged and insured in the garage, and somebody came in and stole the car, got the car back. They came back 2 days later, jacked it up, and cut the catalytic converter off. When I called the sheriff's department, they interviewed me and made it seem like I was the suspect rather than the victim.
That's how it goes most of the time, yeah. So, Mr. Greene, as I was the vetting process, how would your vetting process go, you know, to get qualified police officers?
Well, first we have to reach out to the individuals who we think would be most likely to join the agency. And I would do that by exclusively going out and interviewing individuals and letting them know that this type of job is what the community needs, that they are doing a service to the community as opposed to just a job. It is not an adventure.
That's right.
And once I can identify people, and probably out of the county if necessary, to bring people to this area, it's going to be the tough sell right there. However, I'm sure that we can find several individuals. We don't have a large budget to hire a lot of people, but we do have enough to bring in several people, and we can put them in various roles and give them adequate training. They have to be mentally and physically able to do the job.
Yes, yes. So, in living in Brunswick County all my life, you know, it has been a drug problem. You know, like crack cocaine, you know, was a hell of a drug problem. Now it's fentanyl, opioid crisis.
Exactly, and that ties into the problem of the mental illness and what have. You know, I personally, and I cannot change that, but I think one of the mistakes was to actually legalize marijuana.
Oh, okay.
It's not exactly a gateway drug or not, but it changes the mindset of individuals who will be more likely to become involved in other drug abuse in situations. I know several people personally that are in dire need of mental health. They walk down the roads, you see them, and they're family members as well as total strangers. And people really don't know what to do with them. They have all types of illnesses that's manifested in various ways. And one of the ways we've had a suicide rate that's becoming more and more lately.
Out of control.
Out of control. Yes. We haven't had too many homicides, which is a different issue. But the mental aspects of it, they're going to have to give them some type of assistance. You know, I look at the sheriff's cars, and I see it says, "In God We Trust." And that's a good thing for a personal thing, but I think it should be serve and protect. And this is what our object is. We're supposed to serve and protect. And whatever that is that we need to do that. Serve the people, provide the services that they need. And if it's a mental illness situation, and if it's an opioid drug problem, we need to address it. You know, people who have been going to jail, in prison, found out they have overdose cases in the prison.
Yes.
The sheriff's department is in part responsible for the maintaining of that prison. Something needs to be done about that. We even had a correctional officer who overdosed and died on the outside in her car some time ago. We've things have been kind of lax and loose with the department. They had a prisoner just walk out of the jail. Nobody was watching. He walked away, handcuffed and all. And I don't know if they ever apprehended him or not. We have those type of issues, lax supervision, lax attitude. These type of things need to be corrected.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Very true. So I asked you earlier, I said, what made you want to come back to Brunswick County, So tell me again, where's your family?
My last name is Greene.
That's okay.
We live in this area called Greentown.
Okay, I know about Greentown. That's right. Okay.
It's about a road 7 miles long, and at one time, almost all of the area was greens. I think our family history goes back to the 1700s, where we have tombstones in the Greentown Cemetery indicating as much. Right now, 20 years ago, I had purchased land thinking that it would come back and this would be a thriving community and it'd be nice.
Right.
But unfortunately, when I came back, I found that it had gotten to a decadence and to a detriment of the society or the community. There's nothing here. They've taken away the farmers' rights to farm. You can only the big farmers can grow tobacco. The big farmers can do soybean. So all the little small best pocket farmers per se in the family and what have you will no longer have that livelihood.
So your position, are you gonna be reaching out to community groups?
Exactly. Brunswick County is a community of communities. They have, each section has their own particular needs and situations that need to be dealt with. You can't treat everybody the same. Say, for instance, down at the lake. At the lake, they don't care if they don't have any problems with farm equipment, accidents, theft, and they don't have any problems with the school system because most of them are retirees. They come from out of town. They bought property on the lake. They enjoy boating. They don't have any kids, so they don't worry about the school system. They don't have any grandkids come and stay with them. So their issues will be completely different from other areas
of the county.
At the county, exactly.
Right. That's very true.
So each community will have to go out and assess their particular needs. And again, it's the community that needs to step up and tell us what they need. We are listening to them and finding out that we can address their particular issues so that we can handle it and be the best people we can for them. Being that the crime rate is so low, I think we could devote more manpower to look after the elderly. We could do wellness checks for people, once they sign up, and we could come by and check them, call them up on the phone to see how they are, if they need anything. We can look into programs that can subsidize what we do, or we can subsidize what they do. So, we do have an aging community, and we need to look after the older people because we ourselves are going to be older.
Yes.
Those of us who's not old already.
And and that's why I think it just need more public relations.
Absolutely.
Just need more public relations.
At
the end of the day,
more visible.
Yeah.
When I was in the city, there was not a lot of people on the streets after 3 o'clock in the morning. So there was no need to have a major police presence after 3. So basically, the old school thing is 8 to 4, 4 to 12, and 12 to 8. Those shifts are not what I would consider adequate for an area like this. We need more visibility. Say, for instance, on the 4 to 12 or the 5 to 1 shift like that. During the daytime, basically we're doing accidents and small crimes and things like that, but nothing major. So I think we could put more people on the evening shift. We can handle those situations as far as wellness checks and all that during the day, and put the people where they need to be put.
That's right. That's right, Mr. Greene. That's right. So before I end this, Mr. Greene, what's your long-term vision for Brunswick County, and what do you hope to achieve if you become sheriff?
When I become sheriff, I'm going to try to foster a better relationship between the community and the sheriff's office. I'd like to see the youth of the town, which is where we have to start at, to change their perspective of the police officers or the people who are here to serve and protect them. Let them aspire to become police officers or sheriffs. And we want to get the better trained people as far as schools concerned. We need to get a program like the PAL program, which is Police Athletic League. We need to actually fund it and actually have them be mentors to these kids. This is going to be a major step to accumulate. The other things, we have to get a better relationship with the criminal justice system, with the courts, so that we not just warehouse people and quick change them right into jail. We need to have a diversion program where the kids get in the problem, that they could come and we could divert them.
Yes.
Instead of going and having a criminal record.
That's
we can
right.
make them see the error of their ways and offer them some solutions and activities that will help foster a better relationship between not only the police department but the citizens themselves.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And Mr. Greene, I want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
For taking your time to come, hey, speak to the community. Let them know, you know, 'cause I'm pretty sure I didn't know you for a few days ago, Mr. Greene, but people will know you today though.
Okay.
They will know you today.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
I'm out there. I'm not going to be a part-time sheriff. I'm not going to be doing heating and air conditioning on the weekends.
That's right.
Or during the week.
That's right.
I'm going to be here for the people. You'll see me at the shopping center. You'll see me downtown. I'll be walking around. I'll be in uniform, and I'll be very approachable. And I'm here to serve everybody, even those who did not vote for me. I am still their sheriff, and I will be there for the system in any way I can.
Okay. All right. Mr. Greene, what steps would you take to support the sheriff office and the relationships with the school and the educational system?
Well, I like to implement the PAL program that, or at least support it more than has been done. Apparently, I mean, I've seen the signs say the PAL program, which is the Police Athletic League, and I know that they're supposed to be a recreational facility for that, but I'll care some more about other things than athletics and recreation. They need educational support. They need intellectual support. They need after-school monitoring. They need qualified people to give the services that they need, educational-wise. And the parents as well. A lot of the parents are not really qualified, or they don't know themselves how to raise children. And education begins at home, and school is a supplemental for that education. They need to be trained at home, so when they go to school, they'll be ready to learn.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so how do you plan to engage and involve the community in shaping the law enforcement?
Well, again, you know, I want to appeal to the community, let them know that we're here to help them. Our job is to serve them and protect them. They need to step forward and tell us what they need and how they need it.
That's right.
I went to the Hardys not too long ago, about 7 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was 2 juveniles riding bicycles outside, begging people for money and panhandling and harassing. And the manager had to go out and chase them away, and they would come back and they wanted a cup of soda and a tea. I mean, things like that need to be addressed. If they had to put a uniform officer out there at night to let them know that this is not appropriate activity and find out who they are and find out why they're out there, I think that that would be a start.
Okay. Mr. Greene,
Yeah.
what measures would you implement to enhance the response capabilities in Brunswick?
The response capabilities, I think that they should have officers not sitting. I don't know exactly how they are situated at this point. I'll be able to find that out once I'm in the office itself, and I'll better be able to determine the deployment of the officers, individual officers, and the shifts as well.
So, Mr. Greene, what efforts can we make to get the youth, you know, out of the streets? Because as you see, there's nowhere to go. Nothing. When I was in school, we had after school things, shoot basketball, different elementary schools in the county. We had a lot of things to do after school. It's nothing to do after school. So, I mean, what would what would the office do?
Well, that's a difficult question. It's not easily answered. During the week, the children need to be home. They need to be in the house learning and manners and different things and learning how to do the schoolwork that they had the previous day. During the weekends is what we could probably affect most positively, and we could provide venues for the children to either go on little field trips at the expense of the county to a large extent, and see if we can bring forth the kids. We cannot take over the parents' job, but we will help supervise them and offer our expertise in certain fields. I don't advocate that the sheriff's office go out and play basketball with them or play football, but we can maybe do this during the summer. We can coach some of them and make sure that they have activities they can participate in. Even if it's a swimming pool that's been closed, open the swimming pool up, go on little field trips. A lot of the kids have never even been out of the county.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. So your years in law enforcement, can you give me an example of some community policy programs, initiatives you've been involved with since you've been in law enforcement?
Well, again, I was what they call officer friendly, and we would go to the schools and we did various programs. We did one program that was called the ABCs of Staying in School, and I remember having a class, and the premise was I would go into the classroom and I would tell the children, "Look, this is the last day that you have to go to school. These were 6th and 7th graders. And I gave them the premise that this is the last day that you ever have to go to school. And so what did we do? And I had a pizza party. I bought pizzas for all the kids. They had a good time. So the next day, the next week, when I came in, we're going to start again. And at that point, I brought in a bunch of newspaper clippings and said, okay, so now that you're not going to school, we have to find somewhere to stay. And so let's look up an apartment. So I took out classified ads for apartments in the paper, handed them out, and the kids would pick out where they wanted to stay and what have you. And so the second time around, we said, okay, now that you found somewhere to stay, how are we going to pay for it? We got to get rent to pay for these places. So let's find a job. So I handed out little classified clippings of the jobs. The kids would look at these and say, oh, yeah, I can. But none of them, they said, you got to be at least 18. You got to be 21. You got to have a driver's license. So I said, okay, all that stuff's out the window. So and, you got to, you know, we talked about it and all, but at the end, we finally got some type of understanding that they needed to have an education in order to be able to survive in this world, you know, more than just the minimum amount that they had to do.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So once again, Mr. Greene, thank you for coming out, introducing yourself to the community, Flexin Wit Dex.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the time and your effort to come out. And again, I am the sheriff-elect, and I appreciate all the support, not only before the election, during the election, but after the election. I need this community to come out and help me to come up with solutions to the problems that we have in the area.
Yes. Once again, Flexin Wit Dex podcast. Hey, get to know your candidate 2023. Flex your vote. See you next time. Go.